Azul is a game for 2 to 4 players that will play in approximately 20 to 45 minutes depending on how many players you have. The goal of the game is to place tiles down to create a pattern and win as many victory points as possible. Game setup is simple and quick. For Azul, you will each get your own player board as well as a tracking cube for your score tracker at the top of the board. The first player, determined by who is most recently in Portugal, receives the first player white tile with the number 1 on it. After that, you need to lay out your factory display circles in the middle of the table in a circle. The number you need is determined by the number of players you have. The first player now has the job to draw 4 tiles for each of the factory display windows in the middle of the table. After this is done, you are ready to start the game.
Alright, so let's play Azul. So let's check out your board first. So on your board, you have what are called your pattern lines, which are here. When you fill them, you want to go from right to left and fill them as you're going. Underneath that is called your floor line. This area right here, you start from left and you go right, and these are going to be worth negative points at the end of each round. Over in the blue area is a reminder for at the end of the game some bonus scoring. These are important at the end because for every completed row horizontally you get +2. Every completed vertical row you get +7 points. And then if you have all of the 5 of one color on your board, so for example if you got all of the blues here, at the end of the game you would get +10 for each of those that you have done. So before we get started here, I think it's kind of important to know how you score points so that way you can pick a strategy when you begin. So the whole point of the game is to fill a pattern line, so that way once you have a pattern line filled, you get to take one of that color and place it in your wall here. So for example, if I had 5 red tiles here, I would take the very first one and I would place it here on the red, and then I would get rid of the last 4 and just put them in the box top of the game. So after you have one of these filled, when you place it, this is how you score points at the end of each round. So when you place a tile, you want to look at it whether it has any connecting tiles to the right, to the left, and up and down around the tile. Diagonally does not matter. So as an example, if I have this one here, and then I finish this row and a full of black tiles, and then I place this one is worth 2 points because it has one right next to it. But when I placed the red one originally, there were no other tiles around it, so it was worth only 1 point when I placed it. So you really want to, when you're placing tiles, make sure that you're trying to plan ahead and try to get them so that way when you're placing them, they have multiple tiles around them. So as an example, if I was going to place, for example, a yellow tile here, it would be worth 1, 2, 3 points when I placed it. But let's say that I started with this and I place my red tile here in the middle. This red tile is going to be worth 5 points, and that's because you're going to count it once horizontally, 1, 2, 3, and once vertically, 1, 2, with a total of 5 points. So the more that you have it connected, the better. Now, the game ends when someone has a complete row of 5. So you have to have a complete horizontal row. So as soon as you have something like this, the game is done. You'll play out the round until the end, but this is where you need to keep track of what your partners or your other opponents are doing, because you need to watch out if they are completing a row. So say for example that see that my partner has this and that they have all of their blues filled up while they are completing this last round. I need to make sure that I'm trying to complete as many rows as possible because I know at the end of this round it is the end of the game. So that is how you score points as you are playing the game. So now, how do you get those tiles? So this is a very simple mechanic. It does get a little complicated as you go on because you are not allowed to repeat anything, obviously. So if I already have my red one here, I can never do red here again because red is already taken up. So now, how do you get these tiles? If you are the first player, you have the lovely first player tile. Gotta love the artwork here. Great. You're going to take the first player tile and you're going to put it in the center of all of our windows, our display windows here for factory tiles. So our factory displays, remember, they each have 4 on them. So now, because I'm the first player, I really only have one option, and that is to grab all of one color from one of the displays. So as an example, I could take both of the black if I wanted to from this one, or I could take both of the blue, or if I really want just one, I could take just one of one color, and that would be the one tile that I take. So after you take whatever you decided, so I'm going to take my 2 blue here, and then I'm going to put them on my pattern lines. So when you place them on a pattern line, you have to choose one line to place them on. So as an example, if I decide that I want to place it here, then I have one left over. I cannot place this down here and place it on another line. You have to then put whatever's left over down here into your floor line. So I don't want to do that because I don't want any negative points. But I do want to finish this line, so I'm going to put them here because the goal is by the end of the round, I want to have as many finished lines as possible so that I can actually transfer those tiles over into my wall. So that was my turn, and now it's my partner's turn. So remember that I have to put all of whatever's left over from my display in the middle, and now it's my partner. So my partner's cheating here. Got a bunch of points already. Okay, so my partner now has 2 options to choose from. My partner can choose to take all of one color from the middle or all of one color from the remaining displays. If the first player tile is still in the middle and my partner chooses to take one of these tiles in the middle, they also take the player 1 tile at the same time. So let's just say that my partner really wants the teal one from the middle, and they're going to put it up here because they want to finish off this row here at the end of this round. They also have to take the player 1 tile, which means that they're going to go first next round, but they also get a -1 point for this round at the end because they have to play the player 1 tile down in their floor line. So the game continues, so then it would be my turn, and then I can say that I want to take these 2 black ones. Again, I have to play them in one line. So I'm going to see if I can put this black one near this blue one. It's not going to work here. It's going to be diagonal. So I'm going to put it, let's go here and see. Now, I'm not going to be able to finish this line at this moment. So I'm going to leave those 2. And then these 2 are just going to slide to the middle. And you're going to keep going until you have all of your tiles done. So your round is finished because there are no more tiles left at the end of the round. So now is the time to score for this round. So when you score, you are going to start with looking to see which of your pattern lines are finished. So if a pattern line is finished, remember you want to start from the top and work your way down. So here I have nothing, so I get nothing there. So here my pattern line is finished. So I'm going to take my tile and move it here. And remember that this has nothing around it, so it's only worth 1 point. So I'm going to track that I now have 1 point. And then whatever's left behind, you actually just throw into the top of the box of the game. So that way you can recycle them later if you need. So now I thought ahead a little bit and I go 1, 2, 3, that's completely full. And I'm going to move this here. So when I place it, remember I look around and it's got 1 in front of it, so I count it 1, 2, and so I get 2 points, and I move 1, 2. And so then the last of the 2, whatever's left over, get thrown on the top of the box, and you keep going. Now if I look here, this is not negative points, it's not bad, it just means that I have these on my board at the beginning of the next round, so these have to stay. Any lines that you have to stay. And say next the round comes around and you decide that you change your mind, you don't want to do red anymore, this is not possible. You have to have only the same color. So no switching up colors in the middle of a line. You have to keep it the same. So if we look at my partner is also doing, so they've got 1 here, so it slides across and they get 1 point. So ta-da, they get 1. And then they thought ahead as well, and look at that, they get 2 points for that black one because it's got 1 right above it. And then this extra one thrown into the top of the box. They have nothing here, And then they're going to be, they finished this row of 4, so they're going to take this one, they're going to slide it across there, but nothing is connecting it, so it's only worth 1 point. So they're going to slide over 1 point, and then the 3 that were left over, top of the box, and then they have left over. Now, my partner did get the first player token, so, and they accidentally, looks like they messed up a little bit and they had another one, or they decided they just didn't want to use this one. So they have to take a -2 points overall because there's 2 here. So they have to go back 1, 2 points. Whatever's down in your tile, again, throw it in the top of the box, and they have the beginning tile to start the round, which means that they draw to fill up the displays for the next round. And then they get to put this in the middle, and they get to choose first. Okay, so remember that the game is finished as soon as one player, at least one player, has completed an entire horizontal row at the end of a round. So that's the last round if that happens. So all of our tiles are gone. So we cannot continue. We are done with the game because I have finished a row. And actually I finished 2. So if I have 2 here, this is where we're actually going to do our bonuses at the end. You still have to do your minuses as well. So I've already moved all of my tiles over, got rid of what I've left over. If you have unfinished pattern lines, they're not negative points, they're just not worth anything at the end. So you can just clear them off your board. So let's go over again that special scoring at the bottom. If you have any completed lines, any rows here, then that's plus 0.2, plus 2 points. So I have 2 complete rows, so I would go ahead an extra 4 points. And then you also want to look at any verticals that you have finished. So I have a vertical here, and I have a vertical here, and each one is worth 7 points, so I would get 14 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is 11, so 21. So I'm all the way to 21. And then the last thing is quite a big bonus here, and that is if you have all of the tiles of a certain color on your floor. So as an example here, I have all of the teal ones, so that would be 10 points, and I have all of the yellow ones, so that's another 10 points. So I would be up at, and so 21, I would be up at 41, so I'm moving 20 spaces up, and so I have 41. If you haven't already done your subtractions, make sure you remember to do your subtractions at the end. So I have 4, 5, 6. I have to minus, so I do have to go back 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm at 35, and that would be my end score. So again, then your partner would also score out, and whoever has the most wins the game.
So what are my overall thoughts? I love it. This is a great game. If you want something that involves some thinking, but you don't want to be spending all night playing one game, this is the game for you. I love tile placement. The mechanics are simple. This could be an easy gateway game, getting people into gaming. Very simple, beautifully designed. Gotta love this game. It's an easy, definite would want it in my collection. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Azul is definitely a new favorite.